You were selected to be a part of the premier group of Mariachi Spectacular All-Stars because you are considered a torch carrier of the mariachi flame. What does that mean to you?
It's very meaningful. For me, the flame, it's the same flame that all these legends have been carrying right before us. For example, my dad, and it means a lot of passion, love, tradición, cultura, dedicación, hard work, and the guide that has led us to this path, right, to love mariachi music and to take it to where it's at now.
Tell us about your first experience with mariachi music. Was it part of your family, something you discovered on your own? Did you learn in school? Can you share?
I was born into this tradition. I'm a fifth generation mariachi in la familia Paulino. My dad is fourth generation, so I was always homeschooled. So I was born into this tradition. I think it would have been a big sin if I wasn't a mariachi in this life, right? But I was born into it, and yeah, it was automatic. Passion, love, tradition, todo en la familia.
Was it at this time that you became passionate about the music, or did it come a little later on?
I was already passionate about it. What the difference is that my love has grown more, and it keeps growing more and more. I mean, there's no ending to this. I keep falling more in love with the mariachi music, and seeing people enjoy it, and recognize your work, that gives us that motivation to keep on going with this tradition and to share with everybody, alegrar los corazones.
How important do you think music exposure is to young children, and why?
Very important, especially nowadays. Definitely keeps them off the streets, focus on the fundamental activity, other than playing video games, being on social networks. It's very productive, and it's very medicinal, es mucha terapia, para la mente, porque se distrae uno, en algo muy, muy productivo.
Have you personally witnessed any positive changes in any students you've taught?
Many of them, yeah. I have a program in New York City, which is called the New York City Mariachi Conservatory. So we do with a lot of students, right? And I've seen a lot of changes in them as a person, as a musician. Our goal is to obviously train them and become professional, disciplined mariachi musicians, but not all of them have the same passion, or they go a different path, somewhere along there later on in life after the teenage years, But they have, throughout their early years, they were focused on something where it would definitely keep them off the streets, not around drugs, being around the wrong people. But I've seen them grow musically and personally and as a better person, and we learn from them. They have learned from me, and that's the greatest achievement as an instructor or as a mentor, to see that you have made a positive and impact change in their life.
Who do you consider to have the most influence in your musical career? Now, is that the same person that continues to inspire you today?
My dad, Alvaro Paulino. He's 72 years old, and thank God, a year after this whole pandemic started, he was very affected, with COVID-19, and he survived it, and I want to. Sorry, it was a fly. Can you edit that out?
We'll just reset.
Okay. Yeah, my dad definitely is my biggest role model, since the beginning and until at this moment, I still have him by my side. Thank God, he survived the pandemic. He was infected bad, and gracias a Dios que sobrevivió. And up to this day, I'm still sharing, this beautiful tradition. We're still working together, sharing these beautiful musical notes, these beautiful songs, and there's nothing more I can ask for. But I just want him to know that I'm really thankful, and the only way I can repay him is by keep the tradition going, As
a role model for younger generations, how do you hope to inspire this generation in the way musicians who are such a major part of the Mariachi Spectacular of Albuquerque may have inspired you?
To respect the music, to appreciate it, to be disciplined, be professional wherever you are hired to perform. Once you have the traje de charro, it's something very, very important. It's an image that we must show, and back up, back our culture and our tradition. Here at Mariachi Spectacular, it's been a big inspiration. The first time I was here was I was 20 years old. I'm 38 now. I want to thank my friend Jose Santiago. He's from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He was the one that introduced me to the conference here. He opened a lot of doors for me. I met a lot of people, a lot of great people here in New Mexico. There are too many to name, but it was him that really inspired me to actually come to this conference, because that year he invited me to play with Mariachi Nampa. And it happened that Mariachi Spectacular was happening that week, and hey, there's a conference here. I didn't know where he was taking me. He was like, hey, let's go to the hotel, you're gonna meet these musicians. I was like in heaven, I was among these legends, great musicians, great students, great instructors, great audience. It was like a big awe for me, and it was a big inspiration and motivation for me to go back to New York and apply everything I have learned, or everything people have shared with me, to share with others, students and younger and older people than myself. But it was definitely a big inspiration because, I walked in there and they had mariachi in the pedestal, It wasn't down here, because, as you know, there's a big stereotype, with the mariachis, and Mexico, Mexican people. But it's our job, to actually support our culture and our people and our tradition with this powerful, armor we have, which is mariachi music. All right, so my vision, what I'm doing is just an extension what people and these legends have been doing these past years, right? And they deserve the credit, and what they have shared with us, is our job or my job to apply it and teach it to this new generation, hoping they would teach it to the other generations after them and so along, and to make sure that this torch doesn't go off, maintain it shining and bright so it could be the light to guide every generation deeply into this tradition, which is mariachi music.
Can you tell us, how did you select your instrument?
I wanted to become a trumpet player because my dad plays trumpet, but my uncles play violin. But every time I traveled to Mexico, I was go every year. One of my uncles had this small violin, so I thought it was a toy back then, but a toy that has to be taken care of, very good and very respectful. So every time I'll go to his house, I'll go into his closet, pull out this violin, and I'll just start playing. And that was when my dad was like, you know what? I think he likes the violin. So when we got back to New York, I was like 4 or 5 years old. They enrolled me at the Brooklyn Music School. It was a no mariachi program, but it was a performing arts school. I was classically trained. And my mariachi schooling was with my dad at home. So that's how I started developing, my violin skills. And that's how I picked the violin to be my main instrument. And after that, I just started picking up trumpet, vihuela, guitarrón, guitar. And obviously it was very important once you got into this mariachi circle for you to sing as well. So,
where do you see yourself as it relates to mariachi in 20 years?
I see myself still doing what I'm doing now. Obviously maybe doing bigger things, as we go along. Our clientele expands more. We're doing bigger gigs, bigger performances. We're traveling more. So I hope to, 20 years, first of all, primero Dios, que Dios me preste vida. I hope I'm still here, I'm alive, I'm still young, so I should be 58 in 20 years with more experience, more más conocimiento, que es muy importante, y seguir compartiendo con toda la gente que quiere aprender de esta música y quiere disfrutarla, you know, because this is my life, this is my passion and my love.
What piece of advice would you share with young people who want to start a career in mariachi?
To stay in school, you know, stay in school. You could do both, you know, stay in school and keep on practicing, you know, and respect the music, respect your instrument, respect everything. Lo que es el mariachi, respect yourselves, you know, take care of yourselves, practice a lot. You know, there's no ending to this. People are always asking me, and how long can I be a mariachi musician? You know, it all takes effort, and es un compromiso muy, muy grande. Tienes que dedicarte. Es un estilo de vida también. You know, it's a lifestyle. It's not hard, it's not easy, but it's very doable, you know, and it's worth it on the long run if you really love mariachi music and you really want to go ahead and commit your life to it, you know. It's possible. It's very possible. But yeah, keep on practicing, listen to your instructors, listen to the younger, the elderly ones, you know, because we learn from them. Aprendemos de todos ellos. They always have something valuable to share with us.
How has mariachi impacted your life?
In many ways, it has taken me to a lot of places, and it has let me meet people I've never imagined I would meet, or meet places I've never imagined I would perform at. It has definitely brought me a lot of happiness, you know, has made me a better person, better musician, you know. I tend to be a happy person. I consider myself a happy person. I don't like to be mad or grumpy, you know. So I'm a really happy person as it is. And with mariachi music, I'm just more happy. My name is Alvaro Paulino Jr., and I'm a 2021 All-Star for Mariachi Spectacular. I'm 38 years old, and I play the violin.